Man, everybody just hopped right on in. That was pretty cool. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Stock Watch Sunday. My name is Brad, and this is Only Chaos, where I primarily talk about over-the-counter penny stocks. I have reformed my channel a little bit. I know that some of you guys might have noticed, but I have my business partner, Christian, where we talk about business and how I'm developing as a young entrepreneur and how he's been in it for a while and going over all that stuff. So I hope that you guys are enjoying those videos. It's got a little bit slow going at first, but it's something that I'm really passionate about, almost just as passionate about as trading stocks. But I didn't feel like I wanted to move my channel, so I just wanted to, so we're going to organize it a little bit better. And, it's just a process for me up to this point. But tonight, talking about the top 7. Wow, there's a lot to go over. The top 7 stocks that I'm watching this week. I think all of them have a lot of potential for you to make some serious cash, and so I'll go over my reasons as to why. Before I do, though, I want to cover something very quickly. If you are in KSM, or if you were in KSM, as part of the WeTrade HQ community. So if you're not familiar with WeTrade HQ, those links are down in the description below. Over at WeTradeHQ.com, we have a evening mentorship with Kiko, and Kiko has now left WeTrade HQ. No hard feelings from Kiko, from Pat. Pat has been awesome. Pat has been with us from day one. He saw the value in WeTrade HQ and what it was that we were looking to do. But I think at Pat's core, he's an entrepreneur just like me. And I think, for a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, we are, we love to have control, right? And so if Pat was part of WeTrade HQ as a mentor, that was fine. But I think now he's got to the point to where he's like, I'm ready to spread my wings and do this on my own and see if I can actually do it. And so I think he can, and I hope that he crushes it. And more importantly, I expect him to. So very, very well wishes to Pat. Now, having said that, if you were in the Kiko Stock Mentorship, what WeTrade HQ did was we were honoring anything that you had, your existing membership, and moved you over to the Own the Chaos morning mentorship. So I'm going to go over what that means for you guys and, all that good stuff in just a second. Let me go ahead and welcome a lot of folks in here, though. Wow, really great turnout so far. Good to see you guys. Alan, as always, Fox, Bob, good to see you, man. Robbie, Stone Cold, a couple of other folks. Happy to have you. What's going on, Major Scrub? Yeah, it's a really great thing that Pat's got going on, and I know that he's going to crush it. So I'm not even worried about that. So, what's going on, Peter, Amy, Franklin, 5 Kids Deep? How's it going? All right, so let me show you what you should be doing if you're part of Kiko's mentorship and you're not in my morning mentorship Discord, just so that I can make sure that you guys are set and ready to go. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys here. We're going to go over to WeTradeHQ.com. So if you go over to WeTrade HQ, you can see that sad face Kiko is no longer here under the My Mentors. You can see the other ones here that are available to you as well. But primarily you'll go under mine right now, and then you'll go into the mentorship chat, which will then direct you to my exclusive Discord. So that's how you're going to get into my Discord group. And then you can also obviously view the recorded sessions and that sort of thing. So every time I go live with the morning mentorship folks, I go live via Zoom. It's taking a little bit longer to load up here. My internet's been acting a little bit wonky, but you can see that I record all of my sessions that when I go live with folks every morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. So it's just before the market opens, and then just after it opens. I'll stay with you guys for an hour during that period and go over what might be moving during that time, what might be, have some potential, and then we execute that plan accordingly. This isn't a alert type of room. This isn't, hey, go buy this type of room. Basically, all I'm doing is just teaching you the strategies that I employ and how I've been able to find successful and make trading in the stock market and trading penny stocks my full-time job. So this is something that I'm really passionate about. I think the Zoom app really works for people, especially if you're working. You can actually put the Zoom app on your phone. I will tag everybody in the morning and give them their specific Zoom link. You'll just log right on in to Zoom, and then you're there. Also, if you guys are watching, and I'll go live with you guys via Zoom if you're already in the Discord group, just to make sure to get you guys acclimated to Zoom and how it all works. Zoom is a very powerful tool. You guys can literally shout out questions to me just as I'm talking to you right now. You can still type them in a regular chat as well. There's all kinds of cool features that Zoom has that I think is the ultimate tool for a mentorship that is structured like mine, and it's really great stuff. So I'm looking forward to having you guys over. You can have the option of canceling your membership if you don't want to be with the Own the Chaos Morning Mentorship. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I totally understand. There's always kind of a reason. Maybe scheduling doesn't work, this, that, and the other. But again, I just want to extend the fact that I do record them. You do have them available to you. And I think this is great. I think it's a great opportunity for you guys to just kind of see how it is that I make money. And maybe you can find a way for you to employ those same type of strategies for you to become successful. So now that we got that out of the way, I thought that was really important to cover because it's a huge change in We Trade HQ. It's our first mentor basically leaving the nest, and I thought that maybe it would be really important to kind of cover a lot of that stuff right out of the gate so we can get to the important stuff for today. So let me go ahead and share my screen yet again, and we'll go to PRED. Pred, predictive technology, unbelievable stock, okay? This thing has been going crazy. They're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, cash flow positive. Talked about this at length over the last several weeks now. Why? Well, I can't stop talking about it because all it does is it keeps going up. Having said that, I think that we could experience a significant pullback relatively soon. I'm not saying that it'll pull back this week. I think we'll actually see an even more of a run up this week as we approach that uplisting. So I won't go into too much detail as far as the due diligence goes on Pred because I already have done so at length over the previous Stock Watch Sundays. So if you're curious about this, if this is your first time visiting my channel, first of all, you better be giving me a thumbs up because this thing's a monster. And we'll go over to another one where I had a stock that moved from 800% from our entries. And so anyway, we're talking about PRED. And guys, I think that it's very likely that this thing's probably going to uplist to NASDAQ either next week and at the very latest the week after. I think that we'll see it probably this week though. If that happens, I would expect there to be a significant move. Ryan, I don't know if it would be getting baked just yet because I don't think the NASDAQ money is here yet. I think that you'll have folks like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, all those guys starting to recognize this once it gets uplisted to NASDAQ, and I think that we'll see a significant move on PRED better still. I think that they're going to be a significant pullback. I don't think it's going to be at this range. I think after it gets to maybe $10 or more, maybe we'll see that pullback. I don't know yet. But I think that there's going to be, Jesse says he's baking it. Yeah, so this has been an amazing move over the last weeks. I mean, we go back to the daily chart. You can see basically middle of March is really when it started to get ramped up. And it's had a little bit of pullbacks here and there, a couple of red days, but nothing crazy. It actually looks pretty healthy. So for a long-term position, this is something that I'm invested in. This isn't something that I'm going to be getting in for a quick flip. Not something that I'm gonna, just make a short 2-3 day swing trade on. This is something that I think I could confidently invest in for a year or two. So this is a little bit different than the type of trading that I normally do. But this is one that I think has a good long-term potential, and I would add to every dip that I got a chance to add on. So you can, take that for what you will. This isn't something that I'm telling you that you need to do. This is just a value that I see in this thing as we have made entries in around the high $3-4 range, and then it pulled back a little bit down here, and I was able to add at 328. And honestly, as you can tell, it was pretty much a gift. We had highs of 658 on Friday. Amazing move on PRED. So the next one's going to be ALTN. This is a little bit of a wild card. I think the setup here is pretty good. ALTN, this I always have these. When they have some weird, unusual volume on stocks, it makes me perk up and say, okay, what's going on here? And so did a little bit more digging on this one. Security details revealed that the share structure is very small. And it looks like they're starting to get some things going here. They came out with news recently, entering into an agreement with renewable energy provider. This is solar energy, and we make a lot of jokes about solar power companies in the U.S., but this is in Europe. So it's very hot. So imagine, when solar started to get big in the U.S. Well, it's just finally starting to get just as big in Europe. So this is an emerging market in Europe. And so I think that we're going to see a much stronger move from ALTN in the very near future, as they just came out with news last week. And given the share structure being what it is, I think that we could see anything you got in under 35 cents would be a good entry. And then obviously just looking and managing your risk accordingly. Don't just throw the boat at everything that I'm talking about tonight. But, you know, take your starter position, work your way in. As this thing gets more volatile, you'll probably have more opportunities to do so. But, you know, I think ALTN definitely has some pretty strong potential moving forward. But again, it hasn't, you know, gone crazy just yet. I think right now is a good opportunity to get in before it does so. I think ALTN is definitely one to keep on your radar. Faux show. Let me check in with you guys, see what you got going on. Yeah, Alan, thanks for letting folks know about the Zoom app. Appreciate it. 50 folks here. We need 50 likes. Yeah, absolutely. Hit the like button. I love you, Alan, man. One of my loudest cheerleaders. He's awesome. So ELGL was another one that we got into 2 weeks ago within the WeTrade HQ community, and as well as my morning mentorship crew. Got in actually around 30 cents. So it was a little bit high when it started to run up, but it was a great move from 30 cents all the way up to highs of 66, and then it had a significant pullback. I told you guys within the morning mentorship group, and I think I told you guys within my YouTube channel as well, that it was quite frustrating, obviously. But I saw some good opportunities to add down here as it started to work its way down. There's a lot of rumors floating around on this, so right now I'm just playing the hype. I think there's probably going to be a pullback here. It's pretty extended at this point. You know, you're looking at it now. It went up from basically 10 cents all the way up to highs of 55. Will it continue? I don't know. We'll have to see what's going on with ELGL in the future. This is another one that I would say is probably a wild card. But you're looking at the share structure. Looks halfway decent. And I think it's got a pretty good setup. They're getting some things in order with ELGL that I think could make a pretty decent move in the very near future. I mean, take that for what you will. I was able to add to the dip here in the teens, and so now I'm very happy with my position on ELGL. What an amazing move that this thing had on Friday. Was not expecting that in the least. I believe they came out with, did they come out with news on Friday, if I'm not mistaken? Thursday they came out with news. So it wasn't anything in particular that was crazy, but you know, they're starting to get things moving, and I think that's what's getting people excited here. So not to say that maybe there won't be a significant pullback, because I think that there will. If there is a pullback, don't be surprised if it comes back down to 36. If it comes back down to the 36 area, you can bet that I'll be adding to my position and building upon that. The next one's going to be KPay. The reason why I'm looking at KPay is because of the share structure for one, and the extreme overreaction to the Q filing that came out. So the Q filing came out. Let's pull up the KPay Q filing. This is the most recent one that came out this past week. This is why people were selling. If you can see this, and actually I'll zoom in for you. Let me zoom this in. So all you need to know is, so they said, however, not including, so this is future financing, just in case you were wondering. However, not including funds needed for capital expenditures, to pay down debt and trade payables, we anticipate we'll need to raise additional $3 million to cover all operational expenses. Okay, keep that in mind. $3 million over the next 12 months. Debt financing or other sources was probably why people sold off, result in further dilution in the equity ownership of our shares. People don't like that. If they get funding, though, if they get proper funding, non-dilutive funding, I think this thing could really go. And I think this is a pretty crazy overreaction to the stock. It's at 51 cents. It's not going to get diluted down to the trips. I just don't see that happening. I think there's enough value in KPay to get this thing moving. And as you can tell, it looks like it's pretty oversold. So definitely one to keep an eye on, at least if nothing else, for a nice little reversal. I think we could definitely see that on KPay for sure. The next one's going to be RAFA. This is my favorite one this past week. RAFA was amazing. Jeez. I can't say enough about RAFA too. I think there's even more potential here for RAFA for sure. This is a cannabis company in Europe. They're looking to outreach into Asia and other markets as well. And all it's done is run 800% from my initial call out at 6 cents. On this, listen, Stock Watch Sunday here, 6 cents. Talked about RAFA, about how it could make a really good monster move, and all it did was run 800% since then. So take that into an account. Take that into account. Yeah. Anyways, RAFA had a significant pullback. A lot of people can attest this to selling the news. Came out with news on Friday. Announced its acquisition of aeroponic technology, expecting to quadruple production. And then everybody sold it. You know what that does? That gives me an opportunity to add to my position. I think if you get anything under 30 cents for RAFA, then consider yourself lucky. I think it would be a gift. Because there's a lot more potential that RAFA, I think, has. And this isn't the end of this story. Not by a long shot. So, you know, if you can't get yourself into RAFA at these levels, I would probably venture to bet you're probably going to be chasing it after the fact. So, you know, this isn't, again, this is just me talking. This is me, you know, looking at something and saying, yes, I see a lot of value in this. I'm not telling people that you have to buy something just because I see value in it. But having said that, I am right a lot of times. But on the flip side of that, I have been wrong a lot of times too. But lately, I've just been knocking them out of the park. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I have been. So with RAFA, I think that there's a lot of potential here just because looking at the share structure, it is very good. Share structure is very good here. We're looking somewhere around 71 million, which means it's nice and liquid. Lots of dollars that can move in and out of this, and you can get out of it relatively easily as well. And I think that given the news that they've had out recently, they also have celebrities on board to basically market for them. I just think that they got a lot of good things going on. So for a good long-term swing trade, RAFA is going to be it for a show. Okay, let me check in with you guys, see what you got going on. IFLM, yes, we'll be talking about that. BMMJ is at a bargain price. Yeah, so anything weed related is probably a gift as well. It's just a tough time of the year for any weed related stocks. BMMJ, I still love BMMJ. Jesse, definitely with you there as well. Yeah. All right. Okay, so the next one I'm going to be talking about is TMRC. TMRC, I told you guys I was watching it. Actually, this was as of last Stock Watch Sunday, so I talked about this one as well. Still very much on my radar. Starting to form a nice little bull flag pattern here. Pretty easy stepper since basically the beginning of the month. And why am I looking at TMRC? I'm looking at share structure here, and it's very, very good. This is a rare earth materials stock. It's based in the U.S. And I talked about this with you guys last week about the trade war between China and the U.S. If the China continues to withhold their rare earth materials from the U.S. and anybody else that they don't want to be dealing with, then companies like TMRC that are based in the U.S. are going to become increasingly more valuable. And so when you're looking at something like TMRC and you say, okay, I see the share structure looks pretty decent. You're looking through the filings and you say, okay, the filings look pretty good too. They're not diluting. TMRC definitely has the perfect setup for when people start to catch wind of the fact that rare earth materials are going to start to become a lot more valuable. It's basic economics, people. The rarer something is, the more scarce it is, the more valuable it becomes. And so if TMRC has valuable materials that you really can't get anywhere else, then TMRC itself will become more valuable. So definitely keep your eye on that. This is looking like it's shaping up to move quite nicely. The reason we saw a little bit of a pullback on TMRC is because you did see the regular markets moving up. Towards the end of the week, we saw SPY have a little bit of a comeback. Gold started to come down a little bit, and so I think TMRC was basically just following suit. I don't think this will be the end of it, though. If, like I said, if China still persists on withholding their rare earth materials, companies like TMRC will definitely start to increase in value. Let's check in with you guys. I can talk to you about that as well. Major Scrub, sure, no problem. All right. Last one I'm going to be talking about, stock number 7, is IFLM. This is the wildest of wild cards, people. The wildest of wildest cards. So what I'm telling you is if you just got money that you don't really care about if you lose it, then invest in IFLM. There's one of two things that could happen here. So here's the backstory, okay? You pull up one of the later filings, and Jake P. Knock, it basically owns 45% of the OS that we know of. The latest reportable OS, or outstanding shares, was 585 million shares, and that was back in 2016. That's the latest news that we have, or the latest numbers that we have on the outstanding shares. I have reason to believe that perhaps there might be a slight difference there, but looking at the chart, go back on the daily chart, and this is we can go all the way back to 2016, and you can see there really hasn't been any selling. So there's been no dumping. So there's nothing that would lead me to believe that the OS is really any that different. So if anybody knows anything about trips, this is an insanely low number for a 000 stock. And I'm willing to bet that it's probably close to that. This guy, Jake P. Knock, bought half of it, 45% of the OS that we know of. Who is this guy? Well, he owns Pro Music Rights. And Pro Music Rights, if you guys recall several Stock Watch Sundays ago, I was talking about VNUE and how I saw a lot of value in there because one of the reasons was because of their affiliation with Pro Music Rights. This guy, he looks like he's 12 years old here, and he's not far from it. He's 20. Was a self-made millionaire at 17 years old by owning his own music label. Signed various very popular artists. I mean, I could go. There's a huge laundry list of them, multi-million, dollar deals. He's got money. Okay, Pro Music Rights is a company that basically seeks out, I would say, generally speaking, radio stations. I'm sure there's other platforms as well that play music that don't have a license to play certain artists' music. And so Pro Music Rights basically seeks those out and, goes to bat for those folks. So Pro Music Rights, I think the rumor here, and this is one of the weirdest ways to do this. I don't know why. Maybe Jake knows more than we do, and he's way smarter than we are. But if it were me, I would just go buy a shell to reverse merge into. But what Jake seems to be doing is he's just going to buy up all the entire share structure of this company and basically overthrow everybody and bring his own company into it. Not the way that I would do it, but there's a lot of risk here. And why is there a lot of risk here? Because I think because he is so young, it doesn't seem as if, and maybe he's got it all figured out and I don't, but it doesn't seem as if he knows 100% of what he's doing. He sold all 6%. He basically tick flipped VNUE with an obscene amount of money, which he shouldn't have done. He could get in trouble for that. You should only be selling a certain percentage if you buy up a certain amount of a company. You're only allowed to sell a certain percentage, and if you do otherwise, you should be receiving some sort of repercussions for that. If he does the same thing to IFLM, he could land himself in a lot of hot water, and obviously it leaves a lot of people high and dry as well. If he just starts dumping half the OS on everybody, maybe he won't do that. Maybe this is actually his plan. There's a lot of question marks, surrounding this stock in particular. But if you look at his Instagram, and you can look at his Twitter account as well, he says, I'm working to obtaining shareholder lists so I can call a special shareholder meeting, and replace current management. So it's clear that he knows what he's doing when it comes to that sort of thing. I sure hope this guy has an attorney that can help him through a lot of this stuff, because right now it just doesn't seem like that. But at 0005 cents per share. Can you imagine if the reverse merger actually happened, and at 0005 cents per share, giving the share structure where it's at, this thing could go off. It could be the penny stock of the summer. Could be the penny stock of the summer. So yeah, there's a lot of risk involved because there's a lot of red flags and question marks. But such is life when you're playing a 000 stock. Having said that, I can't not talk about IFLM because of those reasons. I have to bring it to people's attention because it could just be too good or it could be total shit. One of those two things. And, if you got a few $100s to throw around, maybe $1,000 or so, I would probably take a chance on IFLM. I got in at 0003 and 0004. We'll see where this goes. I'm really curious as to where this goes. So there you have it. There's the top 7 stocks that I'm watching throughout the week, and we'll see where they go. Hostile takeover in OTC. Yeah, well, that's as hostile as they come. So that's absolutely true, Mark. That's absolutely true. I know somebody had a question about SRDP, so we will watch. I'll pull that up. SRPD. We'll see if it pulls up here. So SRDP. This is pre-split. Let me actually pull this up on Thinkorswim. SRDPD. So this went through a reverse split. I told folks that I thought that this one had a lot of potential to uplist to NASDAQ. What is SRDP? This is one, this is a cryptocurrency related penny stock that is solely reliant on, what am I doing? This is, hold on. Let me pull it up on OTC Markets because it can give you a clearer picture because the chart doesn't really matter at this point because there's not much to go off of. So SRDP and now D, because it just went through the reverse split, could very well be uplisting the NASDAQ. And so they had to do this reverse split to do that. You basically have to have a price above $5 to get uplisted, to get approval to get uplisted to NASDAQ. I think that's what's going on with BHPA. There's a reverse merger going on with SRDP, and that is with BHPA Inc. I have talked about this for quite a bit on BHPA and the value that they have. They have over 100,000 crypto mines. Who knows how much they're worth? Hundreds of millions of dollars, I'm willing to bet. But again, it's a crypto-related stock. So, crypto-related stocks, they're all 100% dependent on cryptocurrency and how relevant they are becoming. Bitcoin had a bit of a dip over the last week or so. We'll see if it starts to return. It looked like it did on Friday. Actually, let me pull that up. I'll pull up Bitcoin and see where we're at right now. I haven't looked at it this weekend, actually. I do not pretend to know anything about cryptocurrency. Yeah, it looked like it's still pulling back here. This isn't surprising. If you look at the chart of Bitcoin, any kind of run up, it rarely consolidates and moves and continues to move. It just runs up and then runs back down, and then runs up and runs back down until it just bleeds down to nothing. And that's what happened over the last 2 years until now. It started to become a little bit more relevant. So SRDP, while I think is a legitimate company and they're probably one of the better penny stocks that are as it relates to cryptocurrency, the risk here is that it's the value is solely reliant on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin there's a lot of uncertainty with. It's very risky, as with all cryptocurrencies, and you basically have to look at this and say, okay, as it starts to move up, which cryptocurrency stocks am I going to be looking at? And SRDP will be one of those ones that I would look at. And that is all I have to say about anything that is cryptocurrency related stocks. You can make a lot of good money on them, but the reality is that they're only going to do as well as Bitcoin's doing. And if Bitcoin's not doing well, then they're not going to do well. So we'll see. We'll see where BHPA goes from here. SRDPD, now that the split has gone through. And yeah, that's it. That's my take on that. And really any kind of cryptocurrency related stock, that they're going to react how Bitcoin reacts. And unless something else proves otherwise, I'm going to believe that until then. Well, the market's going up, but I think that's a false sense of hope right now. The market went up because it was reacting to the sharp decline. I think next week we'll start to see it bleed down a little bit more. We're definitely in a bearish market. So the correction happened, and I think it's still going to continue to happen. Hey, thanks, Bill. Hope you do too. Do you expect any movement from LFAP this month? I think LFAP, I thought it was going to. We'll see. The month's not over. So if we go and look at LFAP, they came out with some news that wasn't mind-blowing. LFAP did come out with news on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. It was either Friday, Thursday. Thursday they came out with news. I even told folks within the morning mentorship that this wasn't mind-blowing. They just got some funding, which is a good thing. It's a step in the right direction, but it wasn't something that I thought was going to go crazy. They got funding of $500,000 in consideration for a promissory note. I don't know. I don't think that it would. And obviously, the market kind of didn't really care all that much. It started to move up, started to get towards that 10-cent range. But we got to see something more significant from LFAP. I really thought that there was going to be a lot more movement because of Gay Pride Month. But and again, like I said, we're only into the first week of June, so maybe there's something else that they have going on. I'm not privy to that information, obviously, but we'll see. I would think if I was a CEO of LGBTQ ETF, that I would be doing something in this month as it relates to the business that I'm in. So that would just be my thought on that. So we'll see. Remains to be seen at this point. I would imagine so, Rich. I would imagine so. Yeah, 5 kids deep. You're not kidding. BioC, I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't see a whole lot in that one. Hasn't really shown much to me lately to really kind of see a whole lot of value in. Maybe it goes off, and maybe it doesn't, but it can go off without me. I got a lot of other stuff, as you can see, that I got my eye on. BioAC isn't one that I see a lot of value in currently. Maybe things will change, but we'll see. You got it, man. All right, guys. Well, this is great. Again, thank you so much to Kiko, a.k.a. Pat. Maybe I got that backwards. Pat, a.k.a. Kiko, for providing us with so much value to the We Trade HQ community. And I hope if you're watching this that you really do crush it. And for those of you folks that were in KSM and now have transferred over to Own the Chaos, I will be going live with you in the Discord group via Zoom. So be on the lookout for that. I'll tag everybody right after this live stream. So be sure to check that out over in the Discord group. And that is it for me, guys. If you have no idea what I was talking about as far as the Morning Mentorship group or the We Trade HQ platform, check the links in the description. We have over 4,300 members from around the world learning and growing and celebrate each other's success, not just in penny stocks, but in all stocks, and in the stock market and in cryptocurrency. We built this platform so that no matter what you were trading in the market, We Trade HQ is the place for you. So go check that out, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please give this a thumbs up and please subscribe if you want to see more content such as this. And as always, guys, I'll see y'all before the bell. B. Smith is out. Have a good one.